My name's Brian. This is one of our associates, Roger. So right now we're just going to go through the process of setting up a free white label. Basically, we built this software over the last 2 years. We used to sell data manually. We did $186,000 our first year. Then we built the system. We're over 400,000 now. So basically, anyone can create their own data business, and we basically just take fees on the back end. So what we're going to start doing is getting the full data brokerage app set up for Roger. So Roger, just type that domain over that I sent you where it says white label domain.
Okay, it's in there.
All right, then click white label domain. It gives you an error on the bottom.
Yeah.
My developer said this works, so now I'm very curious to know if it did what it did earlier, because they told me it was fixed. What was the email you used, Roger?
It was this email right here, rdmaptoriches@gmail.com.
Yeah, it done did that same issue. Hold on, let me actually invite developer in here.
Okay.
All right, so just while we're waiting, I'll just go over some things, just conversate. We built this software because I recognized that basically, I mean, you, I guess, should know some of these businesses: Apollo, Seamless AI, Lucia, Zoom Info, Exact Data, Data Axle, Constant Contact. There's an infinite amount of them that have popped up over the years. And one thing that I always find absolutely fascinating is the fact that they are all valued at over $1 billion or $2 billion. It doesn't make sense in my opinion, because they all do the same thing and none of them do anything different. They're all privately invested, and one thing about venture capital world is they get an ego against each other, so they all try to buy similar businesses to outcompete one another. And it seems like there's about 20 of these businesses, all valued between 500 million and $3 billion, that basically don't really accomplish a whole hell of a lot. So the only reason why they're worth such a big valuation is because basically they have an accounting system, and that's all company valuation is: looking at the accounting to see the value, and they deliver credits in exchange for cash. So basically they do the same thing that people on Facebook do manually, with the exception of they have a $2 billion system. And it's not really $2 billion, almost calling it $2 billion, because for some reason that's why all these other companies have a similar valuation. Most of you probably have bought data before, or leads, so you guys know the painful pieces of not having the correct phone number, correct email, having a landline. And what I personally recognized with all of these like Apollo-like companies, collectively their data was actually pretty good if you were able to piece it together. Individually, it was terrible. So if you want to show your screen, Roger, to the actual AvocaData app, basically we took the best of everything and host hundreds of different databases that you would find across all the different data platforms. And as a result, these platforms offer full insight into everything that's possible with the data world. And there's actually another company that's out there that we just discovered called Clay, and they basically tried to solve the problem that we're doing, except it's not a white label. And they haven't made a single dollar yet, from what I know. And they're valued at $500 million. And that's kind of why we basically dropped our pants and made this whole thing free. Because if a company with no revenue is able to do that, that means whatever our problem we were solving, which is, making skip trading basically, all enrichment. Because it's a core thing that people are needing nowadays. So with the white label, I'm going to actually hop on and share my screen. Roger, give me 1 second.
Okay.
1 moment. I'm just going to start dripping these messages out. All right, I'm going to join back on the Zoom on my computer. I'm going to keep my mic on the phone though. Okay. And I just realized because I wasn't in this room, people weren't able to get in. So I apologize, all leads at AI Leads. Okay. So some things I want to just, go through. So a lot of you have already seen what AvocaData is as an app. And I just wanted to show all you guys how all of that basically works with the backend. So what we're offering at no cost to start is your own white label, where you get to connect your domain and connect your payment account. If we don't have an integration for it, we will add it for you. No additional cost. And what this allows you to do basically is create your own funnels of leads and basically control what it is people can and cannot see and buy from you. So just like that, we can control what users can and cannot get. And then over here, you have an insane amount of customization. I think the term is my fault. And you can basically control these packages. You can decide, do they get their leads daily or monthly? And we can also, let's think of something. Starter plan, and we'll call it, now this is, all right, there's 2,000 leads we can program, and we're going to control that it's monthly. We do have the ability to control a free trial, but in this case, I'm just gonna say no. Is it a monthly subscription for rebilling, or is it you can also get really, really, really creative. And this is what's really cool, is you can control all the different databases and what they cost. So I want to expand on that a teeny bit. You can create these databases and control it. But an additional thing that we're allowing you to do is tie these lists into a custom plan. So if you want to go off and sell construction businesses because you have a marketing agency that only wants to work with large construction businesses, you'll have that ability to create that product offering. My computer I'm on froze, but you can guys still hear me. So I'm going to go off and open this up once it wants to work. And that was a big thing that we noticed, was there's a lot of that exist that we're not experts on, but by releasing it as an open white label for anyone to create their own product with, well, now you're getting a whole lot of different perspectives and just all of that along the line. And Chris, I see you're in here. Can you just monitor the chat and just slowly bring some more people in? So right over here, right, we have all our different databases, and there's other ones. What else? Like 200 million, ethnicity, political registration, language spoken, bankruptcy records. So I mean, we're slowly bringing them online as people need them. Let's just assume that you are an expert in, we'll call it family offices, right? So there's different ways we can go about. Easiest way is NAICS code, but sometimes, it's not always perfect. So we can also look up by a company name. Now, I don't recommend looking up by a company name to find an exact, but I would recommend using a company name just to find an industry, right? So there's no industry for merchant cash advance, but if you type in finance, you'll be able to narrow down quite a bit because these companies have the word finance in their incorporated name. Additionally, maybe you come up with the great idea that you want to target because you have a new software application that pizza shops need. So the NAICS, everything that you would need, and you can create these buckets of business leads in these predefined packages to simplify the process. So now your potential client paying you for the data doesn't need to, for lack of a better term, doesn't need to filter it themselves and go through all this type of stuff. So there's all these different food types of things: full service restaurants, limited service restaurants. I'm pretty sure there is a pizza shop code. Well, there actually isn't. It's a subcategory, but we don't divide by that. So 722. With this single code, there's 52,000 businesses of this code that we have in our system. One thing that I'd like to do to avoid a lot of confusion for a buyer or a user of the data is I'd like to try to filter out the ranges, right? Like, all right, if they're 27, we don't want to talk with them. If they happen to be under 76, we don't want to talk with them either. So you're reaching the people that are listed as the owners. So what I can go up and do is copy and paste this for email, for pizza for email list. It's the same count. I shouldn't have clicked that again, but I did. Oh, I removed the email, and I did the age range. So now that's saved. And if we were to go off back to the Datatoleads white label, which is just dedicated for us, for instance, we can see that there's now a list of pizza shop owners with their email address. And why is this useful? Well, for starters, you might be in the food marketing business. That might be a specialty that you do. So if someone comes in looking for X, Y, and Z, you have an easy way to make a package for them and sell it to them and get paid quickly through your own merchant account. Basically, you get paid everything. Then at the end of the time period, a month or something, you just pay the invoice of what the fees were. So right here, we have our list of pizza shop owners. And just like we had before, and I actually made a mistake. I probably shouldn't have named it pizza, because you can see it's just smaller fast food business type of things. But that's how this gets interesting, because if we then the word pizza, for instance, and took out the NAICS code, we're left with 3,000 pizza shops. So that's just one creative use case. And I mean, Chris, you're here. What ideas would you have for some starting of your own white labels?
So actually, I just got off the phone with a potential client, flips houses nationwide, and he's got a team of realtors across the country. So he does a lot of marketing for them, but he also wants them to have their own ability to search databases. So he's likely going to be a white label client where his team of realtors and construction companies across the country can do research on homeowner information. So that's a use case that I just came across, and it's very strong. Really like what he's got going on. But it's endless, right?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you said real estate, I mean, then you can get into selling reverse lookup, skip tracing, data enrichment, and all those things are the same thing. But to every industry, people relate them as something different. There's basically a different name. Any questions before we move on, Abel?
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Walter, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Appreciate the info here. I had signed up, I guess, onto the site before, but then when I went in to go, I mean, we could talk about this later. It's not critical right now, but to sign up as a white label reseller here, it takes me back to the dashboard. Maybe I'm seeing the right thing. I'm not really sure. It just has the list of the pricing on it.
Yeah, so it's a different link. So let me record your information down, because I've been manually helping people just because it is a technical process to start, and one big reason we're doing this is to simplify the process.
Right.
So I'll have Chris reach out to. Actually, I'll reach out to you, not Chris.
Okay, no worries. I appreciate
I'll get you on
it.
with that.
And that we could do what you just showed, because I want to build some packages for. I'm assuming this works really, really good with service-based providers like. I mean, we're already to the summer pool season, but like, I'm trying to think of things coming up into the fall.
Christmas lights. It's the first thing I think of. That's like the next big thing for home services, the Christmas lights, like during December. February.
Yeah, offering their services to put that up and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get meeting this week and we'll get a little set up. Right now, Roger and I were trying to set up another white label, and I thought I fixed the development glitch.
Okay, no
And I
worries.
didn't. So basically, when you hit the
Yeah,
white
okay.
label button, yeah. So we basically just flipped this on Friday in terms of
Okay.
changing the model. So let me explain this. So obviously, nothing's free, right? It's free in terms of you don't have to spend $30,000 to start using it before you make any money.
Right.
So, like eBay, you can start listing, you can start selling. Every week, we send you an invoice of we're still debating on the percentage. It's going to be anywhere between 20 and 30%, where you would then pay us that percentage weekly based on the transactions you did. So you would have access to everything. You can sell everything at the same price we sell it for. So there is no, and it actually works out cheaper because we sell it for a penny. And if you sell it for 2 pennies and it's 30%, you're paying 6/10 of a penny versus 1 whole penny. So it works out cheaper at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
But we're really trying to make it like eBay, where people can bring on their own products, their own models, their own logic, basically, and sell their own, information products, basically.
So basically, we're selling the product, we're getting the monies. We paying you first or paying you after what's sold?
After you don't pay us first. That's the big thing we changed. But we got rid of the paying first, and then what the upgrade plan is, like the course path we want you to go on, is once you perfect the model you're doing, there's something called a master white label, where you can sell your product as a white label. And we were selling it for $2,500 a month, and ideally, we didn't want to fully be agency trainers. So that's a big reason we made this free. So we're not accountable to making sure you're successful because, well, it's free and we don't take any money until you start making money. So that's really why we're doing it like this, because everyone has a different niche, like you were just saying, and end users sometimes will pay more money for the TLC. I mean, we did it like we were, but we had 30 clients paying a lot. But the thing is, there's only one person to make sure they're fully happy at all points of the day. So the same thing Go High Level did. I mean, love or hate Go High Level, forget that. But the business model, basically, you joined a little late, I think, Walter. But overall thing is just delivering the content and being able to book the revenue. And that's the same thing Go High Level did. So it's replicatable.
So basically, you're training us who are taking advantage of this white label service so that the end users coming on don't really have to go to you. They can just go through us to handle all that.
And also, we don't want to be a sales company, right? So this is how we're going to try to make our money, right? We do what we're doing right now. We give everybody this free copy and, this fees assigned on the back end. Our core business model is hosting, not for you guys, but for the big data companies that need you guys to get paid. So essentially what we're doing at this white label is breaking the barrier to entry to actually use massive data from companies that can give you 1 million, 2 million rows a day without actually having to know anything about cloud infrastructure and how to get it from one place to the other. I didn't realize this when I started it, but in order to see a table, just like on AvocaData, 6 things need to happen to make sure it presents the same way when you download it. And that I did not know that when I started doing this 4 years ago, that any one change you do basically requires 6 additional things to be updated to make it work.
Okay, yeah. So we'll just roll with you guys. You just lead us the way, right? And
that's what we're thinking, because like the white label, like the YouTube videos, like this is going to be edited and put on YouTube. Like I would say 80% of all our revenue didn't come from paid ads. Like we've probably done 2 years consistently, like 455, and we are doubling this year. So, and that's just with YouTube organic, just basically being influencer model. And that's what I'm really trying to do. I'm trying to give this free product, make you guys great, and then have you become influencers, reselling the own model to down the line. And I'm pretty sure that's what Lead Connector did with Go High Level. I still haven't figured that out entirely, but That's the idea. Like basically let you guys create, you guys are like the network, like Facebook. It's free to use Facebook. Then we go to the marketers to get the marketers to pay us.
Mhm.
So by having a lot of use cases of you guys just mixing and matching and figuring out what makes money, that then allows us to provide cheaper hosting for other companies, because now we make money 4 different ways, but we are cheaper than anything else because, I mean, if you guys know gas stations, do you have a lot of convenience? Do you sell sandwiches, or are you the highest price for gas? Yeah, and he's not here right now, but Harry, he works for me. He's helping us organize a lot of this, and I'm actually gonna. And like I said, this we just decided to do this Friday, but this is the page I'm gonna send you guys to. And basically, you can submit a form, and that way I can reach out one by one. Because the end goal of it is this: to be able to take all those different databases here, because there is email marketing built in ChatGPT's, but there's a lot of stuff built in. Like what I've been saying is there's too many rooms in the house, and I have no family, so we need to start filling this up. And ideally, this is what you're going to be able to build, and what we want you to be able to resell as your own master white label in the future. So, I mean, these are a lot of our data companies, like the B2B database, but being able to mix and match these almost like a Zapier, to basically taking data, adding data, and then selling information. Because that's really, information is really what is usable. Data technically isn't supposed to be usable by pure definition. Now, in terms of another thing I'll say, in terms of compliance, you're not supposed to tell people to telemarket. I'll just say that. And that's another reason why we elevated the business to what it is, because you can't telemarket. So we, like how we were saying, the coaching and the hand holding, that's why we are doing what we're doing in such a way. But yeah, so I'm going to post this link in the group right here, just in case if any of you have to hop out. That way I can at least I can meet with you guys all one-on-one. Right now I'm just finalizing, like basically whenever they hit this white label button, it does something it shouldn't do. It deletes the whole account, which is probably a simple error to fix, but I need to get that done tonight. And I'll also go into this because being we still have some people here. You can customize the look of it, the words. One thing that I personally have found very useful, and I actually have training videos on this. ChatGPT has done one thing amazingly. It's taken the thought out of a lot of things. So I had my developers develop this in a way where, obviously, if you don't know how to do CSS, it's a standard format. But we have it set up where right now I use ChatGPT outside of the system, but we're going to be integrating ChatGPT where you can just tell it what you want to say, and it will end up doing the styling for you. Because same thing I do, just prompts, but it allows you to really detail it out. And I just write it plainly at first. I do not, I'll actually show you. I don't start off writing it as code. I might just go off and say, code the turn this into HTML. Oh, my computer's freezing on me. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy and paste content that I like, or that I write myself, and I just instruct it like it's a developer, right? It's good to know some of the terms, but at the same time, you don't need to know how to write code. So, buy the best leads for penny. I'm just typing nonsense, right? Because expand this to 600 words and write in HTML. Includes CSS. So while it's doing that, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's say about 60 words right here. And just with those 60 words, it does everything you need it to. And then it's just a matter of copy and pasting. All right, well, I'm back. Just like a nice little blob, right? What do you know? You just got to nicely copy and paste it. That's my work of art that I named recent. There you go. So in less than 3 minutes, we put up a fully coded custom website. That is this. See, color, expand your reach. And I didn't know how to do any of this. ChatGPT basically made it simple. Any questions? I'll just say for Chris or Roger on that one, because Roger's going to be the first one that's redoing his own website, and along with Chris, and they're both going to make video recordings and upload them to YouTube, just like what I just did here. And that's the idea, that if we collectively, all of us, make a lot of content like this, it's just going to expand all of our reach. And now, like I was saying, nicheify it. I mean, we have a lot of people coming to us, and we basically tell them, listen, I don't know how to solve your problem. But that's why we made White Labels, so we can refer you to other companies, because we still get paid by you guys from referring you. So it's a nice little full 360 that we got accomplished for ourselves. All right, Chris, Roger, do you have any
I'm here.
comments?
No, I don't have any comments, but that was nice. That's, Chat GPT is very useful.
Yeah, and this is also old ChatGPT too. This is actually this. I mean, what is this? 400 lines, and even like I couldn't, even with a website builder, I wouldn't have been able to make it look this clean.
Right.
And I mean, this took about 5 hours with ChatGPT to make. And just segmenting it, copy paste. So I gave all you guys that link. If you guys want to go leave your info there, if you haven't, but I'm going to keep going forward. So you can make your own FAQs if they pertain maybe to something specific, like email marketing or anything you can really think of. I'm trying to get this to load. And that custom coding, I want to also add, it works for any of the sections on the back end. You'll be able to go off and really edit it however you need to. Same thing with like the FAQs that you can do it for. You can see like these are the FAQs we put, but really, I mean, it's however you think the use case is. You can also control the colors. We're going to add some more customization to this, but you're able to control what your whole app looks like, give it a whole different feel. You even have the ability to simplify it more so for your users. So if you don't trust them not to, confuse themselves, you can redesign the front end to basically all be pre-built lists like we were doing before with the custom lists. And there we see they're all in here again. And again, this was first use case. We can obviously change it up how you need, customize it. Take some time if you're not paying us to do it, but that's why we're releasing it like this, so we can get the most amount of input. All right, so let me go back to the agency dashboard and just go over the few other features that are left. Yeah, my computer is really not liking me. Then there is a communication system where you can message back and forth in their account. It's not, we don't use it for emailing. I don't like that. I like more so almost like notes, ticket items that we can correct. You can also see every little thing that any of your users do, every little search they do, every click. Why is that important? Well, there's a William here. William, as we see, made an account 500 accounts ago. This is the newest number. This is an older number. So, Chris, maybe it's a great idea to call William, because I mean he's back. He's back in business. So
Yeah, I've been checking that, so I'll put him on a list for tomorrow.
this Mark, he came back like a lot, and that's very. This is a big thing I like to tell our team is it's intuition. I mean, you can see Walter's there. Walter was, geez, you've been here a while, Walter. But basically that gives you a lot of freaking insight into who should I pick up the phone and dial possibly. Especially if you're doing retargeting ads or anything like that. Like this is actually someone that Chris just closed yesterday, 400 accounts later, because if we go off and we look at all his history. Can I actually search up here? We can see he basically was on the website 311 times, 710. And then I think Chris just closed him yesterday, right? Yeah. So intuition. Eric is still clicking around. Another thing you can do too is you can see what everybody searches, not just what they click. Didn't search anything yet. We'll go off to who has an active account. So these are all the searches that Jake did. So you have the ability to be like, oh, Jake, you were looking for people in, I have no idea what that postal code is, but I'd imagine it's somewhere in Tornado Alley because of the fixed hail free. So this is something we've been working with. You might have seen some of the videos, but a challenge system. So what I was saying earlier was some of the best people that have purchased from us strictly came from organic, the YouTube videos. I mean, we have a client that is a master white label, and it wasn't any outreach, it wasn't any telemarketing, it wasn't any paid ads. It was a YouTube video. And he's over a 5-figure client. He's close to 6 figures ongoing. And that I call it lucky, but maybe it's just strategy that if we do more and more and more of these videos, then we'll have something. Another thing that your white label, your users on your white label will be able to do is this. We would dictate from the very top what they have to do. But basically what this is a challenge system where if you do what we, basically a bot troll system, right? So we want you to go spread the word. And the reason why I say this is important because they hit the share button. So we go off and we do this. I did 65,000 times across like 2 years. And the amount of reach we have on Facebook now, because of so many different accounts doing this, is incredible. So we just made the post. Now I'm going to take a screenshot. And I'm also going to take a screenshot of this post. Because now you got to share the post. And if you try to, screw around and try to, defraud the system, get some free leads when you didn't actually do anything, we know. But we really don't know. It's AI that knows. So it basically says you are not correct. But then if we screenshot the right image, it unlocks the credits. Oh, I need to change the dashboard. Oops. You can see we got some more credits in. So really it's infinite. What it is you can and you can't do, we can see. Submitted on the back end, nice little green check. So this is a feature that you guys on the free account. All right. I need to stop doing that. So yeah, these are just extra APIs and stuff that you can add on in the future that we're still developing and playing with. Like we're building a hail tracking app, or basically with your white label, you can combine a hail tracking dashboard with the homeowner leads. There's really a lot of different things that people have tried with us over the years that we built software around to support further. But yeah, that's really all I have to say for this. Not until I get the next thing fixed with the system. But we're going to try to do one of these, 2 or 3 times a week minimum, because it's a lot of information. Things change very rapidly with what we might discover that works. So we want to make sure that we're passing it down. And if you guys haven't already, you guys should subscribe to the YouTube. That's where this video is going next. And before we wrap up, are there any questions that I can answer last second.
Hey, Brian, real quick. Was this at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time?
It was supposed to be, yeah. Did the emails get weird?
No, I was just verifying it because I was like, it was an odd time. So I was like, maybe it was me.
No, yeah, no. Like I said, I actually ran into, and I was delayed sending it out, so I was supposed to be 4, and then I pushed it to 4:30 because
Okay.
of the software malfunction that I witnessed with setting up Rogers.
Okay, no worries. So basically, we get with this white label, we could make a masking domain, I'm assuming, and like create our own like.
Yeah, so you get your own domain. I mean, we share.
Yeah.
So you can connect your own domain.
Right.
So if you know what Go High Level is, right?
Yes.
Same thing in terms of domain connecting. So
Okay. All right.
yeah, so right here you can connect the domain. Good.
Mhm.
Then you can put your payment method in here.
Are you saying, did you recommend that PayPal, or were you saying that it does Stripe, PayPal?
Stripe and authorized, but if you need a different, like I know Numeric or FJ, I forgot the name of it, but it's the white label processor that we have to integrate next. And PayPal is probably a big one. I hate PayPal, but yeah, if you have PayPal, it only takes us a day to get that, day or less to get that turned on.
What do you recommend?
Not PayPal. I like authorized because it's not Stripe. Stripe basically is just the front end of another merchant provider.
Okay.
Authorized, I think, is better. I mean, compared to Stripe, Square, they'll shut you down pretty quickly if you have like a few mishaps.
Okay.
But one thing that I do want to mention is for authorized, we win almost all our chargebacks. And I literally signed up for Chargeback 911, but then we started winning everyone. And I was like, oh, maybe we don't want to auto refund people because basically, because we have a log of everything they do and everything they click, when you do eventually get charged back, because you will eventually have them, there really is a 1, 2, 3 way to solve it. I would say we win like 7 out of every 10 chargebacks. And one thing that we implemented that removed the other 3 out of 10 that they just don't happen anymore is you now have to enter, if you're trying to pay with a credit card, you have to use a business email address. You get it. So you try to pay with a credit card, it sends an OTP to a business email. It doesn't work perfectly, but it's care of at least 7.
And what do you need to get an account with authorized?
I'm wondering if there's a better way to do it other than just give referral people referrals, because let's see, if we go to authorized.com, let's see if you need to go through a third party.
No, because some
I'm
companies
gonna have to think of a list of people actually that I trust enough. I'm not just gonna refer people. There's a lot of
right. Some company wants your articles of incorporation.
Well, that you're gonna need. I mean, you need a company. You can't set up a merchant processing. You can't take credit cards under a business if there's no business. So that's a requirement. It's a company that's active.
Right.
And then it does look into your credit, but we're figuring out. So basically, we're figuring out, like, Roger, another provider that can basically be the merchant where you don't get paid, they get paid because you can't get a merchant account, for instance. But I mean, that's just something we started exploring for a nonprofit angle we work with.
Brian, will all that, like any legal disclaimers or anything, be also attached to like under this white label, or is that something that we have to be?
So this is the truth, right? We built in email marketing, direct mail, right? So that way, if you want a full solution, there is a compliant full solution. It's always fully legal to send email, and it's fully legal to send direct mail unless you have like a restraining order or something that's like an outlier, anomaly. However, you can, but I don't advise it long term, maybe just to get started, maybe, but encouraging people to do telemarketing or texting. I mean, if you start making a lot of money, millions of dollars, I mean, those are the only people that can sue you, for instance, if we're being straight up. The end user, the end person getting texted, they can never touch you or anyone else. They can only touch the direct person that actually sent the message or made the call. And I mean, you also have to think about Twilio. Like Twilio only got in trouble once they knew people were doing it. Once the FCC was able to prove that Twilio knew that this was happening and they were profiting off of it, that's when Twilio got all the shit given to it. Not before that. You actually have to have intent and knowledge. So that's why I said put together all the right ways to do it. And you're going to have some people that are call centers. You know what I mean? And those are the people that never really want to talk to us because they already know what they're doing. And put it this way, you can't, this is what I've learned personally. If a call center guy says to me, oh, the fine is just the cost of doing business, okay. But if I go say that to Roger, who's never done it before, that can create a problem. So the way I've navigated it is, are you breaking the rules? You should research it, but almost certainly yes. But door to door is illegal. So monitor your risk. It's risk management at the end of the day, which is just business. But I mean, coming from someone who's worked with the actual people that, you know, the FCC is probably going after, I mean, they're not going after the individual. They're going after the call centers in Florida that ran $1 billion in PPP or ERC. That's who they're going after, in my opinion. Not the regular guy trying to make 6 figures a year. And that's the way, and because one other thing I'll throw in too, because just so I have done a lot of research on all of that for one reason. We do a lot of work nonprofit wise from an old venture I did, started in 2018, with the formerly incarcerated. Not because I was ever incarcerated, but I ended up making a barbershop business that were Mercedes Sprinter vans. And in order to get a loan, one of the requirements is to not have a felony on your record. So just through a lot of means, I was working through a lot of bank programs, you know, formerly incarcerated people who, you know, run nonprofits that are pretty big in banking. So the whole angle of compliance is, yeah, I mean, they're researching that, because this nonprofit was going to act as the merchant, where you just got out of prison, you just filed bankruptcy, you just got divorced, whatever. You don't have credit to set up a merchant, and you don't have the time and stress level to deal with chargebacks. So we were trying to incorporate a program that's a nonprofit that will handle the actual processing of the money and then pay it out to the person they're helping if you can't get a merchant account.
Can I pivot real quick on a question as far as like real estate agents? Are people doing things with them? I would think they would be doing this themselves, or are they not? I mean, is this something that?
So I'll give you, so 2 things, right? For the last 4 years, I've always been telling people, like, if they don't want to talk with people, I mean, they shouldn't be buying information like this to do well, especially in real estate. But the second thing is someone actually came to us for a white label, and it was totally out of the box ordinary, where you saw, obviously, we have that open AI feature. Mm-hmm. They wanted to get a white label with homeowner data and just that open AI feature, and that's it. Because what they do is they get pre-foreclosure signed on, and they get a timeline, obviously a contract to execute. And then they'll recruit all the real estate agents in the area to sell it to the local neighbors. So he was going to sign up for the white label to have it incorporated into basically giving data for free in exchange for marketing to try to sell that property. And he still makes 50% of the commission if someone else sold it. So he's basically using the credits as currency. And then we had another person that was a client, actual user, a few of them, not just one, but direct mail. I mean, that was one where they wanted to buy lists of homeowners that were over the age of 65 because they wanted to send them a listing postcard.
Right. We can use this to find a list of like real estate agents to market to, like.
Unofficially, yes. Is it put online? Like, is there a box for it? No. But by in like the next week or two, yes. I mean, I have a million real estate agents. Before I had the system, I had to do all this manually in different clouds and stuff.
Right.
So it's just been a process of getting it all online. But we have that, insurance agents, CPAs.
Okay, true. I'm glad I was able to jump on today. This is good.
Yeah, man, it's a new phase in what we're doing. It's what we've been trying to get to for 3 years. It all started with a phone call with someone trying to sell me insurance. And I said, well, I got 100,000 records for $5,000 for you. And he paid. And I couldn't afford insurance when he called. So that's the funny part. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna keep doing this. What I'm gonna also do, for everyone that was in here, I mean, it was only like 5 or 6 of us, but that's just enough. I made a dedicated Facebook group, and basically just posting ideas, business comments. It's like a community, basically, where it's not paid. It's just, different people trying to communicate on ideas and solutions for starting this. So I'll get all you guys invited into there over the next couple hours. And I appreciate all of you guys' time. This was really, really, really productive with the information that came out of it and the questions that you asked, Walter.
Oh, good. I appreciate it. Yeah. And that'll be good to collaborate a little bit, because I'm working on a marketing agency. I'm a solopreneur. I'm trying to really hit it. I'm just really tired of trading time for dollars. So I'd like to build something that's residual for sure.
That's the idea, right? And
Right.
It's not just residual, right? And this is something I can keep going on, but people, especially basically Visa and MasterCard, forced the merchant companies to take gift cards. And you can see how that turns into a headache with renewals. But data's currency. So your renewal didn't go through for $499, $499 times 12 months is $6,000. I'll sell you a year for $3,000. And then when we take our 30%, you're left with $2,100.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's an annual. And 50% of every card will rebill annually, typically, because if they go to put $4,000 on a card, they don't have a gift card with $4,000 on it. So it strategically, we've personally noticed it worked really well once we started to adjust that from last year. So on that note, I appreciate everybody, and we'll all stay in contact. This was awesome.
Yes, great meeting.
Yeah, nice to meet everybody. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, guys.